So I'm going to be hunting for some real estate projects to list right here in the city that I'm located in. And the reason being is that I want to monitor it directly. I want to make sure the first one is a good one. There are projects globally, but I think that starting out something hands-on would be beneficial for everyone to make sure it goes fast and smoothly and can be monitored by myself personally. We're also open to any proposals for projects as well. Okay, I think we got like 12 participants right now. $13, I like that number. Let's get started then. Yeah?
Yeah, let's.
Okay, cool. So other than everyone can agree that Lily is awesome, next question is, apart from staking DNT, brilliant idea, there's not much incentive to buy DNT. We need good incentives to buy our token. What is thoughts on this, Alex? So I was involved tangentially back in the SLT days before the migration. Then I remember, quite frankly and easily, this was the utility token used inside the platform. We will continue to use DNT for operations inside of in order to vote on the projects, for instance, and in order to interact with them. There is a staking mechanism, and we will even turn on different rewards. For instance, about a smart staking on the WhiteBIT, which was quite successful. We will look at different staking mechanisms to entice the community. I like the voting mechanism because it's basically you use the DNT to vote, and then there's also the security liquidity pool mechanism as well. So the idea is, in general, just like before, the more activity that's on the platform, the more there will be native demand for these tokens, because you will need to use them inside the platform. The next question got 17 upvotes. Says, what are the main unique features of the new blockchain that makes it different to the other blockchains already out there? Do you plan on multiple tokens, stable coins, etc., or is it only DNT? So I teased you guys a little bit there. This is not something that's 100% just our own. This is a project that we backed that's being created in tandem with us. We will leave the DNT. We're going to make bridges and cross-chain capability. So all your DNTs are safe. You're going to continue to have full use of exactly what you have with your DNT. There was also before about the possible dilution. There would not be any dilution or swaps. No need for that. The main features of the new blockchain, I would like our technical specialist to be able to separately explain, because again, I'm mainly biz dev and finance. I understand enough of the technicals, but not enough to answer that one in depth. It is I do know that the technology is better than what's out there. It's cheaper in terms of the way that the proofs are done, and also the whole gas fee situation there. Supply of the DNT was increased 3x when we swapped to BSC. Many of the community were upset as we only got 2x from this SLT swap. This must not happen again, or on any other blockchain. Community needs fairness. I did make a promise, and I got this promise off of the owners, that there will be no more A dilution. B, even when we start to implement the use of some new technology, we will continue using the DNT token. It will be compatible with whatever we start utilizing for the rest of our activities. So so you're going to be safe with your DNT, as there's no more dilution, no more swaps other than exactly how many you had. About which venture capital company you're talking about in the latest news, what are the plans? So there's we got a prelim term sheet. I'm going to be able to introduce you by video very soon with a veteran venture capitalist who's raising his third fund for the region. This person has done significant things in Davos. He's done a couple of headline deals. He's raising $100 million fund. Once he gives me the green light, I will make a separate press release and introduce him. This is going to be a real venture capital style deal that we're raising for the Definder platform. And that means that is going to be money that can be used for the development, because right now we're at the health of the market until the treasury is unlocked. So that's why I've been brought in to also do regular capital markets transactions like I normally would, which is to bring in investors into the company itself, not just the token. If anyone is actually interested to co-invest, that will be opened up as well, because he's an anchor investor. He's doing part of the deal, up to half of it. The rest will be co-invest by other investors. What are your plans with the new blockchain, different token or for each product, or on one blockchain, or one token for all products? Say, because the more use cases for one token, the better. So the new project that we backed, that's a partner of ours. Like I said, that will be presented by the technical team. You're gonna love him, because there's a really strong, with a great background, technical group behind that. They're gonna have their own native token, but just like SLT was the first project to use Stellar, if you remember, on the XLM platform. We've basically agreed to test out some of our capabilities with this new blockchain, whereas they would have their own stablecoin and their own native token as well. But we will have a lot of mutual value added between DNT, Definder, which is supposed to be, we're supposed to be a fundraising platform. And that's the main thing that we're going to do. And we're going to use all the different technologies that are capable for that. Are there any plans in motion to get listed on another DEX, for example? I think probably centralized exchange, for example, KuCoin. So right now, I'm actually talking to WhiteBIT to increase the activity there, because back in SLT times, that was one of the best platforms. I will look at KuCoin. I've seen some requests for that. I've gotten some headway with a few other centralized exchanges, because it says here DEX, but I'm assuming that it meant centralized exchanges. So yes, the centralized exchanges are important, but we don't want to go to too many. We want to cherry pick them. So if you guys can vote on the ones that you use most. So far, I've gotten requests about KuCoin. I would like to see some renewed activity on the WhiteBIT, which we spent a lot of time and money developing. So every time you go to, you got to understand that the good exchanges, they charge a lot to get on and to do activity there. And the ones that are cheap or free, they're not worth being on. So that's the trade-off. That's why we need to probably get big enough so that exchanges invite us and ask us to be on them. Next one, got 11 rows here. You've mentioned licenses. What licenses specifically are you seeking, and from what regulator? Okay, so this is my cup of tea. This is exactly the reason that we stagnated before, and why me and my team had to part ways beforehand, because I myself am from the regulated markets. I've done institutional sales and trading at Deutsche Bank, at BNP Paribas, I finished NYU Stern School of Business. I worked on Wall Street. I had different investment banks that I was doing sales and trading on in Ukraine, mainly institutional, but I've done retail as well. I've worked under licenses all the time before then. And my partner, Martin Birch at the time as well, the two who you know because he was the non-executive chairman. And we categorically wanted to either A, be doing a business that doesn't require licensing, or get the licensing. And in this case, the licensing that we were looking at when I was there and when things were going great was the Liechtenstein. We were looking at two licenses. We were looking at Liechtenstein and Ukraine. As you see, Ukraine is in a little bit of a difficult position right now. I still think that that's relevant because the technically speaking, the legislation still works there. They have adopted a pro crypto legislation, which lets you get cheap and effective licensing. We will probably get that, but once the war is over. Liechtenstein was a bit too expensive for the security tokenization that we were trying to do back then, which was full on security tokens, like ownership of the real estate. There was licensing originally under FCA in the UK because Smartlands was the first token company that successfully, under regulation, under chaperoning regulation there, issued a security token for retail investors. There was from 500 British pounds and up per ticket. So that is actually why, that was the only reason why me and my team before we cooperated with this project, is because it legitimately had the legal opinions, hundreds of thousands of dollars on these legal opinions, by the way, just so you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars typically on regulation, and things change. So in the UK, it's become tighter. They're not as I don't know what King Charles thinks about crypto, but they're a little bit tighter on that regulation. So the ones that are normal and open, Switzerland is the best, but it's the most expensive. Liechtenstein is a little bit less expensive, but it still turned out to be too expensive to do these sort of transactions that we were looking at. And right now, I'm aware that one of the best cost value basis is in the Baltics. I believe in Lithuania. And that's actually where original CEO is from, and I need to be in touch with him because I want to see what he thinks on that. I'm also looking to see what other prior value-added team members I could bring back. I'm sure you guys will be happy to see some of the power players back on the roster. So I'm working on negotiating with some of them, and I think you guys will like it. So I'll tease you a little bit there. We'll pull one rabbit out of a hat each day or each week. We'll see how you guys behave. But what I've gotten is an agreement from the shareholders that the first course of duty upon opening of the treasury, which would only open at 57 cents mark, we would use the first allocated funds to acquire the bare minimum licensing, which would be for our crowd investing platform in the Baltics. Now, what I also understand is that for the current business model that Definder pivoted to, away from the security tokens, is peer-to-peer lending, and that is for the most part unregulated and allowed. So basically, if you have a marketplace that allows one client to lend to another client, and we are not acting as the go-between in terms of we're just taking a fee, we're not processing the money through ourselves, that is something that's allowed. That's why Definder was focusing on that before there was licensing. So that's about the licensing, and I'm actually going to be focusing on getting the bare minimal licensing required, because we want to be able to do more. We want to possibly look back at different security tokenizations or funds or other products as well. But for now, we're just doing peer-to-peer lending, and that does not, in most jurisdictions, that does not require licensing. Next, hi Alex, will SmartLands come back off the shelf when the war is over? Will SmartLands share the same token as DNT? So SmartLands, yeah, it is. Basically, DNT was a rebranding and expansion. Inside Definder, there's a number of things, including the SmartLands platform. And like I just said, that there was, when I was on the ground in Ukraine, I was actually party to negotiations with the different ministries, including the Ministry of Agriculture, to digitize all the agriculture land in Ukraine and have SmartLands tokenize it. Because they opened up the land market to be able to buy and sell land, or land leases for that matter. Also forestry management contracts. For the hectares of forestry that you could put aside, and it grows in value because the trees grow, and also the price of wood grows. So if you don't cut them down and you trim a little bit, that's an asset that could be tokenized as well. Likewise, we were in negotiations, and I'll continue them with places in Belgium and otherwise, where you can tokenize a square meter of real estate. You can then buy and sell square meters of real estate. If you're building a project, you could pre-sell tokens, which then can be swapped in for an apartment. Those are all things that are on the table, and it will continue to be so. But it all has to do with a roadmap. There was a lack of a CEO. I'm here now. Sorry, it took me a bit, but I'll get this, as much of this, done for you guys as possible. And yeah, the DNT token is basically the new SLT. That's why you had it swapped, and that's why it wasn't 1-to-1, because there had to be more development work, and that 7 million tokens is actually still locked up. That would only get unlocked at the 57 cent mark, and that will be used for development. That will be used to pay new team members, to do marketing, to buy licenses, to do business development, and to run the business. You guys have the other 2/3. In the roadmap, there's plan will be open a Korea office in 2023. Is one of the enthusiastic Korea hodlers. I'm excited about it and how's going to the plan. So I actually mentioned, I think Bang about that as well. I don't know if that was you that wrote it, but from what I remember, Martin was telling me back in the day that some of our best community people are our Korean friends. I've never been to South Korea. I'd love to go. That might be a reason. If we do well on the graph there, I might take off and go talk about opening that office. Asia is developing quite rapidly. There's a lot of activity going on. I'm already in talks with people in Sri Lanka and Maldives. There was a project in Bali, by the way. I just found out that there's a new law in Bali that unmarried men and women can't be in a hotel room together without getting the police coming there. So that Indonesia might not be a good place, but places like Korea, Japan, Sri Lanka, those places are quite exciting to me. And then also I believe to the community. There's a lot of people that commute and jump around, especially in the nicer climate areas. So yes, I would like to go to Korea and maybe set up shop before the end of 2023. Will Harvey return? 10 thumbs up. I give that another 2. I want Harvey back. So Lily, put that on the agenda. We're gonna have a new sticker pack also, but we need to have Harvey somehow dusted off and updated, because I think that was definitely one of the coolest things back in the day with the SLT setup. From Smartlands to Definder, licensing acquisition seems like a never-ending issue. Yeah, that was an issue. When do you think we will license and sell our first product? Okay, so as again, I understood that the peer-to-peer lending can be done already. That's why Definder pivoted to that and had to retool its model. That could be done without licensing if it's completely peer-to-peer directly. As soon as we break the 50-cent mark and we have access to the treasury tokens, that is the first order of business. That money will go directly towards the lawyers and the capital requirements in Lithuania to get the bare minimum license, because we want to have licensing even for the things that can be done in some jurisdictions without licensing. I would like to open it up further and be able to do crowdfunding in general, online crowdfunding and the co-investing license there. So don't you think DNT holders will preemptively sell before it reaches 57 cents, 0.57 dollars? Why not take that 119 times 3 sentence out of the WP and just issue the tokens whenever it is beneficial for Definder? The white paper. So I'm not that versed in this, but I'm understanding that we made a firm commitment to all you guys, and that 7 million seems to be locked up until it reaches that mark. I think that changing that would probably undermine, I don't even know if we could physically change that. I don't know if it's hardwired or not, but from what I was told going into this project, that's a pretty hard commitment. And I would actually prefer that we keep our commitments, even if it's not hardwired. I think it's good to respect that we do exactly what we promised in the white paper. And I believe that if we all work together, I looked at the screen, judging by how we went from 15 cents to $21 back when I was around on the SLT days, that was 13,000%. I think Elon Musk and Dogecoin were the only ones that beat us then. So getting to 57 cents from where we are now should only take a number of minutes if we all try. But it all depends on how much we want to try, and not just keep dumping. We could, but once the guys are done dumping, then we'll keep going. Okay, so next. In what time span do you guys plan to be self-sufficient without depleting your reserves, meaning yearly revenues for financing and yearly expenses? Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get access to some of that treasury to do the licensing, to do some more marketing, to get enough people in the system, because what we need to have is activity so that there's a certain amount of the pie that was supposed to be spent on marketing to have users that would be investing in the or lending to the projects that we have. Once we get a few of those going, and also this venture capital deal that I get going, we should be pretty self-sustainable. I believe by the end of this year we will be self-sustainable altogether, and I think we have enough in that, more than enough in that treasury to get past the sustainability mark. Hello, Alex. I've read about a new stealth blockchain project being worked on. Would this new blockchain use the DNT token? So, like I mentioned with the comparing it to the Stellar situation and how SLT was the first token on Stellar, we would have a cross and a bridge between DNT and this new system, and we will be one of the pilot projects. So we're actually letting ourselves be one of the first projects on this to prove how well it works, because that's how much we believe in it. But this blockchain will have its own native token as well. And you guys are going to have first glimpse of this. This is already something that's close to completion. So I think that you guys will be happy once I have our technical expert separately in a separate discussion explain everything about this. But I was told that it would make all you guys happy. So when do you plan to launch the first project to the funding stage? I hope to, within the next few weeks to a month, have up a few test projects, have you guys vote on them, and by the end of next month, I would like to have a project go live. And at that point, we already had a project back in the UK with Smartlands, but this would be the first Definder project to go live to the funding stage by the end of April. Are you and the team going to be laser focused on using the platform and token to actively participate in the largest rebuild effort known to mankind called Ukraine? Yes, actually, that's what I was talking about with some of the silly questions being thrown around. Ukraine will win. It's got the US backing it, and out of all the world wars that happened, the US never lost one. Once that happens, the US and its partners are gonna fund one of the biggest projects like the Marshall Plan. I was at a conference in Lugano, Switzerland, where they were talking about over $800 billion in rebuild, and about that same amount of illicit Russian funds has been seized in international banks. So there's already the money to build it. That rebuild will be very technological. We're in touch with the Ministry of Digital Transformation in Ukraine. Ukraine has some of the most developers. Our guys are from there as well, a lot of them. They're looking to be completely technological going forward, especially now, and then especially on the rebuild. And once that happens, you'll have tokenized value chain. You'll have tokenized assets. You'll have the ability to buy real estate property with tokens, agriculture land, agriculture commodities. That we're definitely going to partake in that $800 billion. Probably more after that. Aren't you annoyed there are two DNTs? If you Google DNT crypto, you'll find Definder website on the 5th page of the results. That happens, but I saw that SLT had also a couple others, but SLT was the one that was most popular. So once we get popular enough, people won't pay attention to the others. I don't know what those others are. People still write Definder. You see what the logo looks like. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. And it's not a crypto. It's a token. We're not a cryptocurrency. It's a utility token. Remember that, please. In case you are thinking in add liquidity via liquidity provider system on PancakeSwap, which is the plan to fight against impermanent loss, high APY, how much? To tell you guys the truth, I played with PancakeSwap for the first time recently. I'm actually always have been using centralized exchanges with the market depth and everything. I haven't been able to get my head around exactly this impermanent loss. I think that I need some people to explain to me why that is. I'm going to talk to our market maker to find out. And I've seen that there are some issues with trading on PancakeSwap system like that. So I'm going to, as a first course of action, because I'm a guy from the capital markets, what I want to do is I want to get to the bottom of the effectiveness of trading and I want to make it so that for you guys, for everyone that's using trading in and out of DNT and providing liquidity or even farming liquidity. I also think that there's something to be said about trying to catch arbitrage between the different markets, because there's a lot of times a big gap between WhiteBIT and PancakeSwap. It's something to do activity on. Back when it was SLT, I remember there was some guy coming in and making $10,000 per month going between Stellar X and WhiteBIT. We were quite annoyed by that, because they were like, hell, that should have been our market maker. But there were some of you guys possibly that were making some bank by being astute and knowing how to trade these things back and forth. So maybe you want to play. Everyone should trade a bit. That's the market, and that's the point of arbitrage. That's it, to be able to give more liquidity or take liquidity from one place and bring it to the other. If you create a new token, do another swap. We're not going to create a new token, and we're not going to do another swap. You're not going to have worse than the ratio you have today. As long as I'm involved, definitively, the owners have said that as well. That was a one-off situation in order to build out a new system, and that's about it. That was a huge blow, unfortunately. But now we have what we have, and we need to build it together. Thank you, Alex, for coming on board. Does the recent news about Korea issuing guidance on STOs change Definder's business strategy in any way in the near future? No, I did not delve into the guidance in Korea. I would like to look at that. I'm guessing that's security token offerings. So we're not doing security tokens right now. That's what we were doing with Smartlands. Once we get that far enough, we're just doing the crowdfunding and peer-to-peer lending. But once we get back to the security tokenization, then I will look at that more deeper. In Europe, it is typical to only get maximum 80% funding from a bank for real estate. Last 20% needs to be financed differently. What about using DF to help finance the 20% platform I use now? Does this? This was my favorite question out of all of these, because I was helping someone do a real estate recently, and you got to have 20% own funds, equity, basically down payment, to get that 80% funding. And that funding here, we were just looking at the banks, it was like 3.36% in euros. So that gives you a lot more upside on your equity side. So I am definitely, this is my favorite question, technically speaking, on this whole list. And yes, I want to look at that to see if we probably need to have the licensing in place to take down equity-like capital, and then to be able to put the money down and get banks to co-invest the rest. We would probably want to do that through Switzerland, where they're friendly towards blockchain companies. And we are looking at Switzerland for some partnerships. So I love that question about the 80-20. We want to try to get some of that. Hi there. Feel free to ask your question and vote for interesting ones. Please don't duplicate questions. Oh, well, this is the AMA one. Have a great day. No, that's not a question. Over the last 15 months, the token has dropped in value 98%. I didn't count, but yeah, it looked bad. The last CEO even posted a frog in a McDonald's uniform. That was, see, I'm friends with Ilya. He's a cool guy. He's still helping us out through me. He's giving me some advice. He was a CTO that then also had to be a CEO. So you have to excuse him. He's quirky, just like most technical guys are, but he's very smart. One of the most genius guys. He did a lot with what he could have done. We had all NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. So unfortunately, at different points, we were not allowed to talk to the market without getting the okay from the shareholders. So that picture, he bought an NFT. That's a cool NFT. He likes that one. I like it too. That's his Froggy. Maybe we could get Ilya to come back if everyone votes for him. I don't know. I'd like him back as CTO though. Let's see. So we got the Froggy, and then at the start, why should we trust you again? Well, look, the fact of the matter is that there was people involved that were involved as employees, and as employees or management, we're only at the behest of what we are or not allowed to say or do. At one point, we had a differing of opinion. We had a bit of a come to Jesus. I had the owners approach me and say, "Okay, we'll go back to the plans at hand." And one of the things that was clear to me is that I said that we must, even though it costs more money, we got to get the licensing. I was told that if I can steer this thing back into fruition, open up that treasury, that money will be used first and foremost for the licensing. Everyone else on board had an issue mainly with that because the licensing was too expensive at the time, and you guys were not willing to wait enough. So the price started falling because the license was not achieved fast enough. But in order to get it achieved fast enough, you got to put more money towards the lawyers. You got to put more money in the capital to get some of these licenses. So so it's an issue of cooperating between the community, getting enough slack in terms of how much time we have to complete certain things. There are delays at times with lawyers, with regulators. If you could be patient with us, we'll be patient and see it through. So that's the way to get back those 98% that we lost. I think we're already gaining some of it back, and well, you got nothing to lose. If it's 98% down, then you should trust us now, because that other 2%, that's not much down. Could you share your business background and experience with us? You seem qualified, but for the audience, tell us a little bit about what you've been involved with. So, like I said, I grew up since I was 5 in New York City. I finished NYU, New York University Stern School of Business. It was the #2 financial university for undergrad in the U.S. I've worked many banking jobs from when I was 16. Actually, I was on the 106th floor of the World Trade Center a year before it went down at Atlantic Bank in New York. I worked at HSBC. These were some internships. I worked full-time at BNP Paribas loan syndications desk. I worked at Deutsche Bank credit derivatives on Wall Street, 60 Wall Street. In 2009, I moved to Ukraine, got married, had a kid. There, I worked at Phoenix Capital on the sales and trading desk, institutional Euro bonds, primary and secondary, and equities as well, and depository receipts. Did listings on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, then on the Warsaw Stock Exchange, did reverse mergers, helped with reverse mergers on the London Stock Exchange, traded on the Ukrainian exchanges and all the other ones stated, did OTC deals, packaged CLNs, credit-linked notes, worked with government bonds. Then in 2014, we were all working at Foil Securities, one of the longest standing American investment banks in Ukraine. Martin and I were heads of sales and trading, international sales actually, and some of the other people, and we started Empire State Capital Partners. Then we were basically, our main job was to bring investors into Ukraine, foreign investors, and we were doing a decent job at that. We've done deals with US OPIC, which is US government funding, $16 million into Bank Vostok, which was then used for lending to small and medium businesses. We had penned up hundreds of millions of dollars in Eurobond transactions, which at times, due to force majeure, there was a number of activities that went wrong, such as the war. Then this allowed us to do some business there up until what happened recently. We've worked with a lot of startups as well. I've invested in startups such as Quambios, a 3D printing company in Odessa. We had a cybersecurity company as well. So quite a decent amount of experience. And then one of the companies that we advised was Smartlands. Now I just decided to come in and work on the inside a bit. So let's see what else. Is DNT the native token for the new blockchain? Again, I've answered that one before. It will be portable, but that one's going to have its own native token. Are there any plans to redo WhiteBIT's staking? Yes, I want to do that. I'm talking to them right now about it. The staking and the trading competition, I want you guys to say what's important, but it looks like you already asked about the staking. Without getting into too much detail, will DNT be incorporated into the new blockchain? Yes, like I said, it's going to be portable, bridgeable, everything. With the new blockchain being developed, will other tokens be able to use the chain? Could DNT be utility required? We will add value. I'm going to work with the guys to make sure that there's going to be a additional value added to the DNT token somehow. Is it not good look to ask price to be pumped and so much talk about money stuff? I'm a money guy. I'm from Wall Street. It's not about pumping. It's about the fact that I have joined and everyone else working is working on spec, only with the idea that there will be access to that treasury to actually pay salaries and everything. That's one. Two, to get the license, to do business development, to do marketing, to do anything, we need access to that 7 million tokens in treasury. If that's not accessible, we don't have a business. So right now we need to strike a deal. We all get up to that price, go above that price, hopefully, do well, and continue to perform and go higher and higher, because that's how it is. That's how things are. If there's a tie-in between the treasury and the price, and the treasury is the only place where we could get access in the short term to get the licensing, do the marketing, pay people, do expansion, then yes, I have to be very blunt. I have to say that price matters. What else? And the last one, token is the right to use the service. We do not yet have any real rights to use the service because it is token price made with expectations. The token price will be made with expectations. So then, so look, back when SLT days, it was very simple. That there will be an inner demand for the token because it needs to be as a mechanism to be used inside the system. Once that happens, there will be a natural demand for the token, and people will have to buy it from the market in order to use it in the system for the different utilities that it has. So the speculation is a construct of how popular and how many people will be using this platform and will have an inherent demand for the token to get the ability to use it as it is written in the white paper. Thank you.